What's up, everyone, and welcome to Everything Bagel featuring the Comic Plug. I am the Comic Plug, and today we're going to be talking about the zombie apocalypse. Now, I know what you're saying. There's been tons of movies and shows about zombie apocalypse, and we all have our take on what exactly we would do in that case of a big calamity. Well, I scoured the internet and I went over different variations of what kind of zombies there are. So let's cover a few of them. There's the Day or Dawn of the Dead zombies. Those are the ones that were trying to get the intelligence up and things of that nature. Then we have the Walking Dead zombies. Now, again, you can outwit them. They went through multiple seasons of beating these zombies to death. Seriously. Next step up, we have Zombieland zombies. Now, these are the different kinds of zombies, and by the second one, they had all different kinds, including the T-1000s, which were unkillable by all expectations, which I don't know if they would be like that. And then, of course, we have the upper echelon of zombies, and that's World War Z zombies. These are scary. These are predicated by sound. Now, look, if there's a zombie apocalypse, know that the comic plug is grabbing the bare essentials of what he needs, but he's also going to be prepared. And the people around him need to be prepared too, obviously. So, when it comes to that, I'm going to need to have a map. So, I'm going to have an old school map with me, but I'm also going to plot a course out of my urban area so I can get to a spot where it's more conducive to hunker down, so to speak. Now, if I have the financial wherewithal and ability to do this, I'd create a zombie bunker. This has different levels of sustainability and things of that nature that allow me to survive for long periods of time. Meanwhile, I could go out and hunt and get food and gather when I need it and fresh water and things of that nature. Of course, I'm going to have gear. I'm going to have gear galore and know that I'm going to be fully functional with what I have. And besides having all the different things that you would possibly need, I would always overcompensate. And yes, I would have the weapons to go along with that also. It's very, very important that you have a gun kit in line for that. And how about a checklist? You need to have a checklist for this. You always want to be over prepared for the unpreparable situation. And the funny thing is, if there is a zombie apocalypse, we can plan all ahead of time. But I can tell you this is how it'll go down.
There'll be panic in the streets. There'll be panic on the TV. The people will disseminate certain information to you, but they'll make sure the more important or elites, as they call them, get protected and get tucked away. As for us common folk, such as the common plug and you guys watching out there, well, we have to learn how to fend for ourselves. So we have two choices. We can board up our establishment of where we're at. And guys, I have a 1,500 square foot home and I have a half acre backyard. So I have stuff at my disposal and area at my disposal. I have a fireplace. I have gas, things of that nature. I have a bunch of propane, for my outside grill. I am not saying that I am a prepper. I am not a prepper. All I'm saying is, in the case of this, there are certain things I have in my home which I can use to protect. And I also am very good and handy, so I have enough wood on hand that I could board things up. So my family is fine. And then keeping in mind that I have an extended family, so I would have to get them in too. My son lives with us, my daughter and my grandbabies don't, so they got to come to us. So they're going to be protected also, but they got to get to us first, which means grandpa, the comic plug, is going to get them and I will get them back safely because I know my way around everything around here in this metro area. Once we get set and solidified, now it's all about protecting. Yes, if I have some neighbors and things like that that need to be put up, I'm going to make sure that they're good also, but they got to come to my house. And then we'll take everything from the neighboring places and we'll stockpile it here because people can be protected. Now I have three neighbors, and we'll talk about them in another episode. There is the young lady to the side of me and the two older gentlemen across the street. Got to make sure that they're good too. But I was in the service for 8 years, and I was in military intelligence, so I know my way around a few different things. So I know how to survive. I also like camping, and I know how to start a fire without a lot of accelerant. I tried showing my kids that when we went camping a couple times, but they wanted to use hand sanitizer. They thought, "Oh, that'll light it." No, that's not how that works. So we'll be good. And in our area, we are outside of the denseness of Detroit. We're just north of it, but there'll be a lot of destruction going on. So if I need to get down and get dirty, so to speak, I have no problem with doing that. And then again, I do have a lot of friends that are heavy off into firearms and things of that nature. So they'll be more than welcome to come on over. So here's a funny thing. What would you do in case of a zombie apocalypse? Write it down in the comments and let me know. Remember, turn your notifications on, subscribe to this channel, like it, and follow for more to come. All right, let's get to our next topic. There's a question that looms in all of our minds, and I am 100% sure of this. And that question is quite simple. Does money equate to happiness? The answer can go a couple different ways. Let's look at the tangible things. Money can buy us stuff. They can buy us material things. They can buy us a big house. They can get us an expensive car that we've always wanted. Heck, they can even pay for a beautiful vacation, all inclusive. It can do a lot of things. But even if you have money, and let's say you got money through the stock market, which is extremely volatile. If you've ever played stocks before, you know that if you're not betting heavy and hard, ask these day traders, you're not going to make a good return. How about they've abolished a lot of these pension plans, especially for the big three, and a lot of these companies don't even offer it anymore, and they force you to get a 401k. Now, here's the funny thing. True story. Remember back years ago when the housing market just collapsed and the government had to bail out all of the the automotive companies, except Ford didn't take it. Well, my 401k, which was high risk, high reward, at that point had almost $750,000 in it. True story. After that market died, 68,000. That was 15 plus years of putting max amounts, max matches into a 401k that went away. So when I retired with hardly any of it left. Because once you take taxes, it's 47% rate, you know. But that's 401k. But they do that on purpose now because they want you to struggle. They want you to stay. Just like that's why they moved the Social Security amount up, 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 up. It is what it is. Hey, I get it. I get it. We all dream of putting all this money in the bank and it piles up, or we cram all this money into our own personal safe. We dream of that one day being just like Scrooge McDuck. Yeah, Scrooge McDuck. Just hoarding all the money, misering it. But does that give us happiness? Look, I've been alive for over half a century. And I can tell you from experience, and a lot of people my age and even close to that age, I feel will say the same thing. Money doesn't buy happiness. Money doesn't. Money helps. It helps pay the bills. It helps you get some of the things that you think that you want. When I first retired, I had to reassess things. I had to say, what is a want versus what is a need? And my wants got lighter and lighter because I got rid of them. And I just stuck with what I need. And I managed that going forward. But what really made me happy, it was not money. Because yes, I did have a decent paying job, six figure, with bonus and everything, six figures. I wasn't happy. I wasn't, because I was never there. I wasn't present. I was too busy focused on the money because I wanted to be happy, because I thought, hey, having all these things, these trinkets, these infinity stones. Yes, I was like Thanos. I had to get the glove and I had to get all the infinity stones. I had to get the big house. I had to get the new car. I had to take all these vacations. Each one was an infinity stone. I had to make sure my wife was gaudily dressed in all this jewelry. But when I retired, my whole perception flipped. I realized what made me more happy and what was more of a commodity in my life and a lot of people's lives, and the younger generation needs to realize this now. It's time. Guys, time is undefeated. Time is undefeated. They are 10 million and oh, they'll always win. Time will always win. So now I cherish every moment that I have with my kids. I cherish every moment I have with my beautiful wife, with my friends, with my family members, with my grandbabies. Heck, I cherish my moments with you guys. Because believe me when I say, I look forward to making content daily. I love doing this. I love this community. And I love that you're going out your way to support me. Thank you. So, from my perspective, because this is all it's about, guys, it's my perspective, my opinion. Money does not equate to happiness. Happiness is a state of mind. If you give me $50 and a afternoon with my wife, I probably won't even spend that $50. I'd rather spend it with her, because that's what makes me happy. The love that I get. Do me a favor. Why don't you let me know in the comments? Do you feel money really gives you happiness? And make sure you defend your stance. If you say it does, there's nothing wrong with that, because that's what your opinion is about. If money gives you happiness and you think it does, that's great. Ask any of these movie stars that are slaves to their profession. Ask any of these musicians that are slaves to their profession. Do they feel that they're free? Do they feel like they're happy? How many of them, you know, end it, so to speak, because they're so happy? All right, y'all, let's head to the next topic. Why don't we?
And so here we come to a topic that's near and dear to my heart. And that's my personal top 10 Marvel movies. Now we're talking all time. So I'm going to give you my top 10 list, one at a time, of course. And I'm going to give you my reasons as to why they're in that position. Or maybe not. Let's just see together. Now, after this is all over, guys, make sure that you comment, make sure that you subscribe, and make sure that you like. And then come on and join. You know, water's fine. Let's get started. This is the Comic Plug's top 10 Marvel movies. Let's start with Thor Ragnarok. Now, this right here holds a special place in my heart because I think the casting of Chris Hemsworth was awesome. All the way back in his solo movie, and then again in the original couple Avengers movies. But Thor Ragnarok really seemed to be a buddy movie because you had the relationship with Thor and Valkyrie and Thor and uh, the Rock dude. I have him back behind me, but I can't remember his name. You have Thor and Hulk. You have Thor and Loki. You even have Thor and the Grand Master, which Jeff Goldblum is a personal favorite of mine as an actor from when he was doing The Fly, even what his appearance in like Jurassic Park, especially The Fly. Come on, man, that was great. So the funny thing is, I thought it was entertaining, and that's what was great. Is Taiki Waititi as a director, he did a great job of incorporating the humor into that movie. Now, I will say, when he went all Taika with Love and Thunder, he really diminished the character of Gore the God Butcher. I mean, like, come on, man. Like, that's such a great character, and he's underutilized. So that's my number 10. My number 9, and this is going to ruffle some feathers, The Eternals. Guys, the Eternals get so much hate out there. But in this movie, Angelina Jolie played a tortured character, and I loved it. The whole thing with Icarus and Circe, and then they introduced the Black Knight, which obviously just spinning the wheels on. I mean, they even introduced Blade, the character, into that at the post credit scene, but we are still waiting for the new adaptation of that. Hopefully, we'll get that in Midnight Suns. And in my own personal thought process is McCary is the one best done speedster in all of superhero movies. Yeah, I know the Flash with the Speed Force, but watch how they did that. It was great. It was just a great adaptation. And then they introduced the Celestials and they gave the background. There was something tangible and good about that. They even explained why they didn't get involved in the Thanos incursion. So that's my number 9. My number 8 is also going to be controversial to some people, and that's Doctor Strange Multiverse of Madness. What did it for me is that they tried to incorporate Wanda the way that she should have been the Scarlet Witch as an evil entity. And again, it was because of the Darkhold, and anyone that reads comic books understands how that works. It was just pure anarchy because Wanda, or should I say the Scarlet Witch, is one of the most powerful, you know, beings in all of Marvel lore, outside of course, your godlike characters. And I did like how they had America Chavez come in there too, although they did underutilize her until the very end, and then you could see some of her powers. But I hope to see her again soon, in whether it be Secret Wars or even a cameo in Doomsday would be nice. I look forward to maybe them coming up with Young Avengers. I think the meetup of all those younger characters, Kate Bishop, and Miss Marvel and all of them would be really good, and it'd be great to see. I did like how at the end they did kind of like leave the door open with the dark dimension, and the person that we all know that Doctor Strange has a true relationship with, you know, a true relationship. So that's my number 8. My number 7, Thunderbolts. I wanted to say Fantastic Four First Steps because I love the adaptation that they did with Galactus, but I can tell you that Thunderbolts, man, the way that they did Sentry was really great. And it was a good balance of action, drama, the intenseness, and also the humorous side of some of these characters. The one down part about that is, man, I really would have loved to see Taskmaster really delve into that character because that is such a great character. And to be like blown off within the first 8 minutes of the movie is kind of like heinous. As the young kids say nowadays, it's diabolical. Um, but I did like what they did with all the characters, and I even liked how they introduced them at the end as the new Avengers. We all know what that means. It's not necessarily the new Avengers. The Thunderbolts are the Thunderbolts. But I really did enjoy how they made the Sentry and the Void and the dichotomy of those two characters meld into one. And how at the end he kind of had to lose himself so that the Void would be lost. But we all know that he's coming back. He's coming back soon. Number 6, and this is when we get to some of the OGs of the Marvel Universe. Uh, the original Black Panther. Chadwick Boseman, phenomenal. He was made for this. He debuted in Civil War, and it was really, really good, man. Like the Black Panther from the beginning to the end had my attention. Another villain who they killed. See, Marvel's not DC. And this is what I'll say about the major difference in the arcs. DC will keep a villain for 19 films. For 7 different Batmans, we'll have the exact same villain. Superman will always have the exact same villain, Lex Luthor. Oh, yeah, they're going to introduce Brainiac, but it's still Lex Luthor. Marvel, they will get rid of a villain. They will have no problem with getting rid of a villain. Every major villain has pretty much ended. And man, Michael B. Jordan played the heck out of his role. It is such a great movie, and it narrates it through the eyes of the Black Panther and the Wakandans. And that gives it depth and layers, and that's what I really, really liked. It outside, Ryan Coogler as a director is freaking phenomenal. You've seen it in Sinners. I'm a horror fan, and that movie is awesome. Everything about it, especially that movie scene, music scene. Oh my God, forget about it. It deserved all the accolades it got. So Black Panther is my number 6. Number 5, my wife knew nothing about this group at all, but I was excited because as a kid I used to collect them. The original run of Guardians of the Galaxy, the first movie. It was so entertaining, man. I I will say this, and this is the truth fact to it. I was very discouraged that Yandu was on the Ravager side and not part of the Guardians of the Galaxy. And Star Lord had the key position when my Yandu had the big red fin to begin with, and he was part of that. But as a movie, as a storyline, as the characters, as they grew, they introduced Nebula really into it. They introduced Gamora, Groot, Rocket Raccoon, the little evil genius, Star Lord, Drax. Come on, man. Like Batista played the heck out of that. And it's sad that he's stepping away from it, but money talks, and Marvel will throw bags of money. Look at Hugh Jackman and Deadpool and Wolverine. They'll get him back if they really want him. And then one of the most iconic characters in all of that was Ronan the Accuser. Oh my gosh. I love that character. But Guardians of the Galaxy was so campy, but it was fun and it was entertaining. It was heartwarming with the end with Groot had embraced everyone in himself to protect them. And then a dance battle. And then when Peter Quill got the stone and he held on to it, you knew something was different. And for them to then go into it as he's the son of Ego, the living planet, phenomenal. I really like that. So that's my number 5. This is for my beautiful wife. My number 4 is Doctor Strange. I'm a big Doctor Strange fan. My wife absolutely loves this movie and will watch it a lot. Almost as much as she watches Sweet Home Alabama. And I'm sick of that movie. But Doctor Strange is really great. That movie with Benedict encompasses his conceitedness, his arrogance. And that's what I really liked about it. And then at the end, you see when he finally gets it, he gets humbled and he understands that it's so much bigger than what we see with our eyes. Man, that is such a great movie. So my number 4 is Doctor Strange. My number 3, and this is where it really got hard because I can go back to some of the originals and say, man, this was so good. But my number 3 is Captain America, the Winter Soldier. How they did Bucky, how they had Falcon just mature through this was so good, man. One of the best lines in that movie, of course, is on your left. Because then in Endgame, it shows up again. And it's reminiscent. The Russo brothers layered that story really good. When I saw Robert Redford, I was like, oh, okay. They're bringing out the big guns. And he was like the yin and yang to Samuel L. And then to find out that he's a bad guy too? My gosh. Come on, man. Forget about it. The scene at the end with the carriers and how it's all being destroyed and coming down. And at the very end, you see Bucky pull him from the water, or you assume he pulled him from the water. That set up so many different building blocks for more movies down the line. It was phenomenal. It had depth, it had a little bit of humor, it had hell action in the elevator. Are you sure? Before we do this, does anyone want to get off? Oh my God. Come on, man. Like when that was about to happen, I already knew. I already knew bad things were going to happen for that elevator full of people. Here we are, my number 2 movie. Now, I think it's because I like the lead villain. I think it's because I love that director. But it's Blade 2. Come on, man. Guillermo del Toro in the Marvel Universe, before it was the Marvel Universe, Blade actually saved MCU before it became the MCU. Blade 2 was so great. It introduced a different faction. It introduced a different style of vampires. Vampires that feed off other vampires. Played by the same guy who played Prince Nuada in Hellboy 2, which is also directed by Guillermo del Toro. As you know, with him, he'll use the same actors, just like a lot of these directors do. Look at Quentin Tarantino. He's guilty of that forever. John Carpenter is too. Man, but that movie had everything. It introduced us to Scud. I didn't like that slimy character from the beginning. Like you already knew something was wrong. Whistler knew. And that set it up for Blade 3, which, I love Blade 1. I really love Blade 2. Blade 3 just didn't sit and didn't hit as heavy because they introduced this other ancient vampire, the alpha vampire. Oh my God, come on now. But that right there is my number 2. And in a strong number 1, and it was so hard to pick between these last movies, but it's Avengers Infinity War. I remember vividly going to the theater and watching that. We were sitting, my wife and I, and one of the most impactful parts is when Thanos and Iron Man were fighting, and Thanos had pulled and broke the piece off and then stabbed Iron Man. The kid next to us that was dressed in a full Spider-Man outfit stood up and screamed, and everyone gasped. That was so emotional. That movie had everything. It tied in all the different groups. It tied in all the different entities of the MCU to come to battle one Scourge. And the Black Order, come on, man. They did them right. They didn't do them dirty. They did them right. And to have Hulk cower, that was great. Thanos, big bad. And at the end, when, hey, Steve, something doesn't feel right, and he disintegrates. Or, oh my God, Prince T'Challa says, come now, it's no time to die. Oh, and then he just fades away. The theater was silent. What other movie did that in the apex of the scene? And because of that movie, it spawned off WandaVision, which is my favorite Disney Plus, a show ever. So there you go, guys. My number 1 is Avengers Infinity War. As always, let me know in the comments what you think. Give me your top 10. I'll be happy to look them over. We can go ahead and do some notes. I really appreciate you guys. Make sure you turn your notifications on. Subscribe. Give me a like. Come on, give me a comment. It's your boy, the Comic Plug, and I will see you guys next time. Have a great one.